The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it.
Illuminati, you've come to take control. You can take my heartbeat, but you can break my soul.
It's time to face the facts, join our hands, make a stand. It's time to gather plans, get the shot, take the chance. Till there is no one left, stay correct to the death. They can't ever break a freedom, we will never let it. The corrupt politics is killing the system. Cynicism is it, and it's everything that you witness. They tell you what to think, make you believe that they're the realness. They feed us full of lies, and yet we always forgive them. Huh? It's all conspiracy, and if you're feeding into it, you're the puppet. The government's pulling strings from above you. It's time for the introduction to truth, and let's start a movement. We've all been brainwashed, they believe that we all are stupid. We believe in what we see and whatever our ears are hearing. But if you look close, listen, gather your own opinion, you'll understand all the lies, lines, and what's between them. This word is not your oyster, this word is a fucking prison. Come on!
Illuminati, you've come to take control. You can take my heartbeat, but you can break my soul.
We all are blind to what's happening in our nation. No one will stand up for the fear of assassination. So they strip us of everything, we stand there and just take it. We're scared to make a stand, a false flag operation. Research Illuminati, find out by 9/11. You see they line their pockets, don't believe the lies they tell you. Trying to seek the truth, realize we need to do whatever it is we can to protect our livelihood. It's time for us to prove whether conspiracy or not. They owe some explanations to the questions that we got. What are the skull and bones? What is lying beneath all these secretive meats? Got you lying between your teeth. What's with the Bilderberg and burning your effigies? I'm praying to Lucifer, how Satanist can you be? While all of the time praying you believing in the beast, just to keep up appearances within Christianity. Come on!
Illuminati, you'll never take control. Your new world order will lead to none at
The emergency alert system has been activated. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit this emergency action notification message. This station has interrupted its regular program at the request of the White House to participate in the emergency alert system. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air. If you are not in this local area, you should tune to stations providing news and information for your local area. You are listening to the emergency alert system. Do not use your telephone. The telephone lines should be kept open for emergency use. The emergency alert system has been activated.
We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Citizens of the global community, this is Anonymous. This is an emergency notification to those who will listen. Anonymous has seen events unfold throughout the years. We have noticed how corrupt governments have grown more unstable, and how wars have been set up. I personally have known about the war with Iran for about 3 years now. But today people are just starting to realize that this is going to happen. For years we have watched the decline of the dollar and the even faster decline of the euro. The United States government is hiding this information from their people. You don't hear anything of the economy, or war, or anything that bears any truth to it, unless it involves cooking tips or teen pop stars. We are anonymous, and we have awoken. We realize that the government is trying to kill its people. We will not stand for this. The government of America is trying to censor the world's internet, which would be a precursor to a worldwide government. If you do not believe that the world is lining up for a one-world government, then just use the internet. Use it while you still can. The government is ruthlessly trying to censor the internet. When we defeat the last 2 internet censorship bills, 2 more were brought up. I don't understand how the people are just letting this happen. Are we, the people, just so comfortable with our lives right now that we want to be left alone in our own bubble, only until every last one of our rights are stripped away from us and we have nothing left but our jobs? If that is true, then you are doing a great job. People of the earth, now is the time to rise. Anonymous is ready, and you must be too. The one question that I must raise is this: why do the governments of the earth want to censor the internet? Do they want to enrage every hacker at once? Send them that question and see how they respond. Tell the government that we are tired of political bribery. As time goes on, this bribery has become an everyday and hardly undetectable thing now. But with the help of the people, we can make sure that those people will never be elected into office again, while we still have a right to vote. Brothers and sisters, don't let the wars overtake us, and don't let the governments and the 1% take our lives. They cannot control your mind or your spirit. Use it. Use whatever you have left that is not controlled by the government and take to the streets. Take it to your work, your school, your family, your friends, your neighbors, and anyone who will listen. If you do anything to further the message of freedom and human rights for anyone and everyone, you have mine, and every other member of Anonymous thanks. Always remember, we are Anonymous. We are Legion. We are growing very rapidly. We are on your street. We are in your school. We are in your workplace. You may not find us, but always remember to expect us.
Attention American citizens, you are currently at war. You probably don't know that you are under attack, but there is a terror ring that is set on enslaving you. Don't let it be too late before you realize this. You are being attacked by a domestic enemy, your government. For some time now, the United States government officials have been passing bill after bill that are eating away at your rights. They are distracting you with select stories to fuel racial hate, who's getting a tummy tuck in Hollywood, or trying to portray Anonymous and other hacktivists as being terrorist threats. They have counted on you being distracted, while they pass these bills to take total control over all aspects of your life. The move to take control has been accelerating over the last few years. Is this the reason Olympia Snow will not be running for another term? Has she realized what this government is doing to its people, and decided not to be a part of it? The United States Constitution and Bill of Rights are being dismantled. You will soon lose all your rights, and live in a police state society. You are not the only country this is happening to, but we want to wake the American people before it is too late. Some things you need to pay attention to and research are: where are the real news stories? You are not getting the true news. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said that Al Jazeera is gaining more prominence in the United States because it offers real news, something she said American media were falling far short of doing. Why is that, Hillary? News outlets in the United States have been silenced. What has been going on with the Occupy movement lately? We know, as we are watching. It is still happening, even though you do not hear about it. It has been getting violent at times, but you do not hear about this either. Bills that the United States government has passed that should concern you. The Patriot Act. Senators Ron Wyden and Mark Udall plead with the government to provide the American people with the facts behind what the Patriot Act can let America's top investigators do. They said citizens would be stunned to learn what the government believes it can get away with under the law. This is coming from 2 of your own senators. New World Order. Get familiar with the concept of this. Agenda 21. Read the structure and contents. NDAA, or the National Defense Authorization Act. Indefinite detention of people without a trial. This includes the United States citizens. SOPA, PIPA, ACTA, and most recently CISPA, All of these will greatly limit your freedoms, and will take away your privacy on the internet. Some have been shot down already, but ACTA and CISPA are in the works as we speak. H.R. 347, a bill that will allow law enforcement to arrest you for protesting. If there is anyone in the general area of a protest that requires them to have Secret Service protection, you will be arrested. H.R. 3166, Enemy Expatriation Act. This has not passed as of yet, but watch for it. H.R. 3166 will allow your government to strip you of the United States citizenship. This, combined with NDAA, should scare the hell out of you. NDRP, National Defense Resource Preparedness, allows the United States government to take any resources from you it sees necessary for itself. Land, personal possessions, etc. The Supreme Court just ruled that an officer of the law can strip search anyone that it arrests, no matter how minor the crime. You can now be strip searched where you never would have been strip searched before. Police departments tracking you by your cell phone? Yes, they are doing that now. Funny thing is, they are not obtaining a warrant before doing so, and getting away with it. Arizona House Bill 2549 sitting on Jan Brewer's desk waiting to be vetoed or signed. This will allow authorities to arrest you for posting anything online that is offensive to another person. This bill is so vague that you could get charged for writing you disapprove of Jan Brewer's policies. This is crazy times that we are living in. Your government is setting up so when it decides to take control, there will be no resistance. If you show resistance, whether it is openly or online, you will be taken away, held indefinitely, without a reason or a trial. It is time to wake up, America. See what is happening around you. Links will be provided in the description below. Read for yourself. Every word in this message is nothing but the truth. We are on your side. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. No need to expect us. We are already here.
Sick and tired of using our tax dollars to bail out the banks? Yeah! We have tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt that we're getting charged at what, 8-10% interest? At least! Assuming you pay it on time. Meanwhile, central bankers, the Federal Reserve, gave them loans at 0% interest. Why are we loaning European banks at 0% interest? This is criminal!
What democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Tell me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like!
The United States Constitution was written to form a more perfect union that would enable checks and balances to prevent a bloody revolution from being a necessary measure to abolish tyranny. Excellent though it was, Colonel George Mason feared the national government might one day end in a tyrannical aristocracy. The rights of the people needed to be secured against potential corruption at the national level. One of the solutions the framers decided upon can be found in Article 5, which gives state legislators the authority to call a convention that bypasses federal legislators to amend the Constitution. That gives we the people the opportunity to make some long overdue structural adjustments. Maybe term limits would be a good place to start. Here's how the process works. Citizens request their state legislators to pass a bill called an application, with operative language identical in each state. These legislators of the states then pass the application. Generally, only a simple majority is needed. Congress shall, by law, call a convention of the states as soon as it receives applications from 2/3 of the state legislatures. That's 34 states. Delegates chosen by the state legislatures attend the convention. Each state only gets one vote at the convention, but they can send as many delegates to represent the state as they so choose. Amendments are proposed, debated, and voted upon at the convention. Finally, ratification takes place in the states. Each amendment must be ratified by 3/4 of the states in order to become part of the U.S. Constitution. But what about a runaway convention? Let's get a reality check. Like constitutional law scholar Robert G. Nadelson says, there are far more political and legal constraints on a runaway convention than on a runaway Congress. The convention delegates, also called commissioners, are bound to the will of their state legislatures. If they don't vote as their states demand, they get recalled. They might even get sent to prison. Furthermore, a full 3/4 of the state legislatures, we're talking 38 state legislatures, must ratify each and every amendment in order for it to become part of the U.S. Constitution. Even Alexander Hamilton and Abraham Lincoln, who favored national government, emphasized that Article 5 gives states authority over the national government. Hamilton writes that national rulers have no option upon the subject. The words of Article 5 are peremptory. The Congress shall call a convention. And Lincoln says the convention mode seems preferable in that it allows amendments to originate with the people themselves. Article 5 Convention of the States is a safe route to stopping federal overreach. Civilizations rise and fall. Let's be a civilization that saw the cycle of collapse coming and broke it.
From the US, Canada, Brazil, to as far as Thailand and much of Europe.
Basically, the large group of protesters.
People protest. They are furious with austerity policies in Europe, the NSA surveillance and drones in America, and a wide range of concerns like freedom of the press and the loss of the secular state in Turkey. Disenchanted, disagreeing, and desperate to be heard.
When they go through the usual channels of electoral democracy, they just have a feeling that the governments aren't representing their interests. So they feel they have no alternative but to take to the streets and express themselves in a way that the governments cannot ignore them.
And the governments haven't ignored them.
There is certainly a problem in many of these protests that there is some sort of gap between popular feeling and the way governments react.
Many of the protests sparked on different continents and in different countries this year ended up with clashes between protesters and authorities.
The greatest fear that government has is that people will feel protest is fashionable, is that people will feel that democracy is fashionable.
Some decided to use the law to protect themselves from these risks. In Chicago, in Quebec, and in Spain, anti-protest laws set heavy fines or even jail sentences for demonstrating or participating in allegedly violent protest.
Democracy is not just having an elected government. It is also being able to accept, listen to, and incorporate many different voices.
And it seems that democracies are under threat.
What's being passed off as representative democracy, but which is actually governed by corporatist globalists, they make some minor concessions, hoping that the protests will dissipate, and then they can continue business as usual.
But with protest now becoming a more popular form of dialogue with authorities, it will hardly be an easy thing to do.
For the next couple of years, the governments are just going to continue to try to screw this up. You know, I mean, like I said, they want their buddies in the pharmaceutical industry to control it, you know, and they don't want to see the people set free. And what they're so afraid of is, you know, when the people actually know the whole truth about what's been done to them, they won't put any trust in these political parties again because, you know, political parties just breed corruption. So it doesn't matter which party gets in, you know, they're still controlled by these mega-rich people who stand in the background. So they're not working for the people. So, I mean, human race has every reason to be very angry about what's taken place here because you take over, you know, it's been over 90 years now since they outlawed the medicinal use of this plant in Canada. And then you look at all the laws that were put in place in other countries, And you think, how many millions of people, or actually even billions of people, have suffered and died simply because that medicine wasn't available? I mean, we're talking about big numbers here. Every family, we've all had family members that we've lost to diseases that this oil could have healed. Who's responsible for this? You know, our governments are supposed to be there to represent us properly. They're supposed to put laws in place that make sense, that are based, you know, in facts, not fiction. Look what they did in the case of cannabis. You know, so like I said, the public have every reason to be angry.
Le fait que beaucoup d'États acceptent par principe des dollars au même titre que de l'or pour les règlements des différences qui existent à leur profit dans la balance des paiements américaine, ce fait entraîne les Américains à s'endetter, et à s'endetter gratuitement vis-à-vis de l'étranger, car ce qu'ils lui doivent, ils le lui payent, tout au moins en partie, avec des dollars qu'il ne tient qu'à eux d'émettre. Étant donné les conséquences que pourrait avoir une crise qui surviendrait dans un pareil domaine, nous pensons qu'il faut prendre à temps les moyens de l'éviter. Nous estimons nécessaire que les échanges internationaux soient établis, comme c'était le cas avant les grands malheurs du monde, sur une base monétaire indiscutable et qui ne porte la marque d'aucun pays en particulier. Quelle base? En vérité, on ne voit pas qu'il puisse y avoir réellement de critères, d'étalons autres que l'or.